People would have looked a ton bit worse.
Yeah.
Like if somebody else was given that, they would have collapsed.
Bad. That was like 10 minutes, that
Yeah,
promo.
yeah.
It was bad.
So Bayley loses. Shocker for me.
I picked Alexa to retain. I just didn't think they were going to make Bayley look so bad.
I think I might have picked Alexa to retain, but I didn't expect it like that.
Way
a clean
win
like that.
Yeah.
Next match was what? Did we have a filler match? Was there There was a match.
The women's match was the second. No, the cruiserweight match.
Cruiserweight.
Neville and Austin Aries.
I think again this was a good story.
Yeah, good match. They as par for the course. It's been pretty much...
Yeah, those two are not going to put on a bad match.
Yep. But now if you saw Austin Aries' tweet after the match saying he needs career reevaluation, they may be moving him out of the cruiserweight division and putting him in the main roster.
It's weird because, is there a rule against that?
No, there is none.
Because technically I would say Finn Balor's probably the same weight as him.
He's 190. He is a cruiserweight.
Yeah,
like
so it's weird
size.
that certain people are cruiserweights, but they're not. Like Rey Mysterio was cruiserweight and heavyweight champion. Austin Aries is easily. He could easily be in the main event of a WWE pay-per-view. He's not a cruiserweight, but he
even
did great
go into
as
the IC title picture.
Yeah,
I think
there's endless possibilities for Austin Aries.
And again, I think what you said last week was I think Neville wins this without him looking weak, and it doesn't make Aries look bad. Which, again, I think is exactly what happened, because Aries technically did make Neville tap out.
Yeah.
Outside the ring, though, so it didn't count.
Yeah.
So he
I like
did
that
look
spot.
good. He did look good. Aries looked great. He comes out looking good.
Neville comes out looking great as well.
So,
and Neville hit that move. What's his move? The Red Arrow?
yeah.
He hit that really well right on his back.
The only problem I have with the whole match is the psychology in it. So they were trying to sell Austin Aries had a knee injury, like for the whole thing.
But they were working his arm as well.
Right. It was weird.
It was strange.
It was very weird.
I don't think they sold being hurt too well.
No,
either.
same thing in the Fatal 5-Way, which I don't know if
I
thought it was a fun match. I thought it was a fun match, but Seth Rollins was trying to sell an ankle injury, I think, and he was doing flips and
I don't
landing
like that,
clean,
man.
and I'm like, how are you selling an ankle injury while you're doing flips and all these
and
things?
he was selling his ribs were hurt, yet he thought it would be a good idea to do like a frog splash.
Yeah,
it's just certain things that you don't need to do, and again, I don't know if it's the performer's fault, if they're just not taught the right way or told not to do certain things or to do certain things. But I thought, like most 5-person matches, it was just a mess.
Yeah, it's generally what happens. I mean, you have 5 guys that are pretty good workers in the match, so I thought in terms of that, it was paced well. It didn't start out with, crazy big spots. It kind of evolved into that. And I thought the finish was actually really good.
Oh, the finish was great. The last couple of minutes was really good, and they were chanting, "This is awesome." No, it wasn't. Just because he jumped through the table,
match,
it was all right.
I liked it. It was a fun end to what was, I thought, a pretty disappointing pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The matches weren't great. The stories in the ring were not great. The build-up to it wasn't the best.
I'm telling you, the best match was the opening match that you missed, Ambrose versus Miz.
Yeah.
Definitely check that one out. It's tough with a 5-person match because obviously you're not going to have all 5 competitors fighting at the same time. You're going to have, one guy just lay down on the outside essentially for like 10 minutes while the other guys do their hot spots. Everybody, came off pretty well. Bray was like, probably the most dominant in the match, kind of being the coordinator for the attacks with him and Joe. Reigns looked amazing as always, as far as getting to do his stuff and be the Superman of
strong. It's amazing that he gets that Finn Balor does his finisher on Reigns, and Reigns does not lose the match. Like,
I thought
this guy can never ever lose clean. It's unbelievable.
I thought Finn was really going to win this.
Nah.
I really thought that.
The thing is that so I think pretty much we're all in agreement now, especially seeing that it's Samoa Joe. They're not going to have Brock Lesnar drop the belt to Joe. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea what they're doing.
I think that this is just they're going to feed Joe to Lesnar.
It's stupid. How can they do this to Joe?
Well, I mean, he's putting in good work. He'll get 2 months of solid promo, and I don't think it'll be like a squash match. Like, he's not going to get obliterated, and that's
but
that.
Essentially, it's Joe's going to fight for the title, and then they're going to just push Braun Strowman in it. in his place.
SummerSlam will be.
It's going to be Braun and Brock, is what they're planning.
I don't think he'll be back for SummerSlam.
That's what I heard. The plan is for Braun versus Brock at SummerSlam. Hopefully, I would love to see a longer program with Joe.
Back. What he got hurt? Last month, May?
I'm not sure.
So if he got hurt in May, 6 months is November.
You never know with these guys, though. I mean, Cena came back pretty quickly a bunch of times. We'll see. We don't know. That's far away from now. What we do know is at Great Balls of Fire.
Which, okay, let's talk about that real quick. Yeah. So they did a little spot for it, and they got the Jerry Lee Lewis song.
Thank God.
So they're not taking it overly seriously.
Yeah.
I liked the little commercial. I was like, all right, I don't hate this now.
It's so fun. Listen, wrestling is for kids in a lot of senses. When we were growing up, maybe with the Attitude Era, it wasn't, but in the 80s, the early 90s, it was meant for, kids and adults to like. So this is, a fun pay-per-view.
Right.
Maybe we want it to be serious at times, but in WWE more particular, it's supposed to be fun for kids of all ages. Yep. So whatever. Maybe we're just too old to enjoy Great Balls of Fire, but as long as the matches are fine, who gives a what about the name of the pay-per-view?
Yep. I will agree with that.
And at least they got the Jerry Lee Lewis song, because it would have just been the dumbest thing ever if they would have heard on it, and then Great Balls of Fire.
Here's Rancid with their new hit single for Great Balls of Fire.
It's what? You couldn't do that, right? I wonder. It's weird that Jerry Lee Lewis, they gave him the rights to it, but whatever. I guess he needs the money.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what other news can we talk about? All in all, pay-per-view. It wasn't even a disappointment because I didn't really have any expectations. I'm obviously happy Joe is number one contender.
I was really disappointed with that tag team match, though. That was my biggest disappointment of the night for me. Just it seemed very
a mess.
Nothing. Yeah, there was no excitement in it.
You knew Jeff was going to do that spot.
Yep.
They were still over.
Yeah, I mean they didn't. Yeah, they're not over anymore. It just didn't.
Cage matches are meant for one-on-one.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Monday Night Raw,
So what do we think tonight's going to happen? So
obviously Joe will have his coronation or his number one contender.
Yeah, they'll talk. They'll do a little promo on that. So they're not going to bring Brock back before that. So he's probably
Is he not? I think he's advertised on a Raw. He's got to be
show up.
He has to be on all Raw before Great Balls of Fire.
I'm sure
assuming.
He'll show up, yeah.
So Brock's going to be the face. I'm assuming, unless they do a heel versus heel.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a tweener anyway.
Yeah, Brock is, whatever. He'll get cheered. Mm-hmm. This is a dream match that people have been waiting for almost 15 years since Joe kind of took off in Ring of Honor. They always want to see these two go at it. They're, trained in mixed martial arts. They're two tough son of a guns. They've never crossed paths before. I think this has potential if Brock, cares. Because, sometimes he's just whatever, give me my money. If they put in, the work leading up to it and they care in the match, has the potential to be, a match of the year candidate.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's going to happen because Brock's hit or miss.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Yeah, I think it has the potential to be a great match as well, like you said. But again, we'll just see what. I think the biggest thing for me is how do they build it up? Like you said, if Brock's not going to be there. Is he cutting promos to Paul Heyman this whole time?
Joe is easily the heel. They're not turning Joe face.
No. So we'll see what Heyman does. I don't know if Lesnar can possibly ever be a true baby face again.
No.
But that's my thing with it. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I think this is just more of let's do this match and then get ready for SummerSlam for Lesnar to fight.
I can potentially see him dropping the belt.
Not to Joe. I'd be very shocked.
Because what? Is Brock going to hold the belt until Mania and only defend it 2 times until then?
They
can screw him out of the belt. They can have Triple H interfere or something.
They are waiting. They still want to do him versus Lesnar versus Strowman, and they still want Lesnar versus
Reigns.
I don't think that match has to have any title stipulation.
I don't think either of them have to.
No, but I think they would want to put it on Strowman. Because they're still trying to build him.
I wish they were trying to build Joe like they were Strowman, because I think Joe is superior in every way. Although I am a fan of Strowman as well, but I think Joe, he's been doing this for almost 20 years. Yeah. He's a time-tested performer.
Who do we think goes up against The Miz now? Ambrose will get his rematch, but after that, going into Great Balls of Fire, who's going to get, unless they give him his rematch there?
They might give him the rematch there. If not, you have a bunch of guys. You have Seth Rollins, you have Finn Balor.
Yeah, all those guys.
A ton of dudes that you...
Elias Sampson.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could go with that. I'm sure we'll probably get a rematch. Hopefully not at the pay-per-view. I don't like to see the same matches over and over at the pay-per-view. Like, I don't want to see Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardys again. This will be like their 4th time on pay-per-view being in the same match. Hopefully, it's going to be intriguing to see where they go. They got 5 weeks until Great Balls of Fire. On SmackDown, they only have a few weeks until Money in the Bank, though.
Yep. 2 weeks. So next week we'll be previewing that pay-per-view.
This is great. This is great for our show because essentially every week we're either previewing or reviewing.
Yeah.
So we're kind of set with our shows.
And last thing I want to get on, so the rumor right now is that Seth Rollins is going to be the cover superstar for WWE 2K18. And so what they've been 2K18's been doing, not for wrestling, but for the NBA games, they've been putting a current star on the regular cover, and then on like the special editions, they're putting like a retired player. So last year was
Goldberg, right?
No, I'm talking for
for NBA.
Yeah, for NBA they had Kobe Bryant and Paul George, and then they had this year they're doing Kyrie Irving and Shaquille O'Neal. So they're always doing like one current player and then one retired player. So if WWE were to do the one regular and then the special edition, who would you want your current to be? And your legend to be?
I don't even think it's a question. It's obviously the genius Lanny Poffo. No, it's the Undertaker, man.
It's got to be Undertaker this year, right? Streak is over. It's
I'm surprised he's just not on the cover.
Yeah.
He's the legend. He's the
retired
most respected performer in the history of the business.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, his time ran up, just like ours is about to. Any last comments? What else we got on here? Nothing.
Your current superstar for 2K18, who would you want if you had on the regular
edition? If I had
edition?
to pick one?
Yeah. Who are you putting on
Has
there?
Reigns been on it?
You're really putting Roman Reigns on the cover of
He's the face of the company. Don't give me that look, man. Listen, who else are they going to put?
Finn Balor.
Then you can have those covers where you kind of like move it, and it like does it, so you can have him as the
covers,
you can have him demon form.
Oh, regular and the demon.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm surprised he hasn't come out as the demon yet.
Well,
they're saving that for one-on-one.
Yeah, they're saving that for a one-on-one. I think they'll just save it for a Bray Wyatt feud. That's what I'm thinking.
You think that's where they're going with Bray? I think
that's
Finn
the next
Balor?
big thing for them. Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
I think they want to put the belt back on Finn, and
Yeah, I don't know if Vince is set on Finn being the man because he's the smaller guy and he has been injured.
He won it originally and then he just got hurt, so it's not like he ever actually lost it.
True.
Who knows where that would have went?
He deserves that one-on-one matchup. Maybe it's him versus Joe later on if Joe can win it.
That would be a great matchup too.
We just have to wait and see, man.
That's where we're at right now. We only got 2 months until
SummerSlam.
So a lot of big things will happen there.
Yep.
But that just about does it for us here today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and for those of us watching on Facebook Live, we're going to get a Facebook page started up, and we'll start streaming from there. So we'll start streaming from that, so that way you don't have to be my friend to watch it. So stay tuned. The 4:30 News Wrap Up is next, and I'm
going to make the shot. Hold on. Yeah!
Kobe
banked it.
There you go. Bye-bye, guys.